task at this point.
Yep, Corki has been picking up a few more wins than he otherwise was getting, but either Corki or Misfortune both make me quite upset.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you guys, that's not exactly filling me with excitement. This least of all, as MF has really found herself struggling to find a whole lot of value, especially against something like Ibai, Cassante as well. There's a lot of ways to really take advantage of a more stationary target.
Yeah, we know how well Smash can play Zeri, for example, and they've got a lot of setup for it. They've got great scaling. I'm surprised that they just slam down the Misfortune because it's very risky. And the Leona is open as well. Man, this is such a great lock-in.
Oh, never mind!
Blitz is great as well into this Misfortune. I mean, anything that's going to be able to, at range, grab a stationary target is going to feel really good about this. And Jace also is somewhat reliant on his ability to set up these engages from a distance while the rest of the team follows up in that moment, because he is a tank, but he's kind of like a suicide bomber tank. He goes in, does a bunch of things, lives for a little bit, gets some cooldowns, and the Azir follows up, the Misfortune follows up, but the Blitzcrank could just yank him out of position and ruin all of that and then front to back, especially because they have so many great follow-up tools as well to isolate him or the Xin Zhao, even though Xin Zhao can absorb so much pressure, and Owner has been such a good Xin Zhao player when it comes to that. If he gets pulled...
Game number 1, that would be extremely exciting. Let's dive into it! All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1. T1 on the blue side taking on NONGSHIM here, who were victorious yesterday over the Bros. We thought that the Bros, after their victory over Gen G, were going to be pretty good here in this LCK Cup. Well, they're pretty absent now, unfortunately. And NONGSHIM are here in their place, and we'll see whether some of that Giga Chad energy has rubbed off on NONGSHIM.
Yeah, that's the question. NONGSHIM really leaned into their dive identity towards the end of the group battle stage, and yesterday as well. Lehen's heavily kind of saying, look, I've got a unique champion pool, and we're going to be able to utilize that in some cool drafts, and I think this is another example of that with the Misfortune locked in, and some of these squishy targets here for T1. Even the Jace in the mid game isn't going to be that tanky just yet. I mean, you really have a lot of opportunity. You do see that, you know, there was a bit of a late rotation over for NONGSHIM. They had the vision that there wasn't going to be anyone coming into where right now you can see Vi starting the jungle.
Just getting poked into oblivion. As level 2 has been found. Heroic charge, no stun here from Carrier, as now Lehans finds the hook. Onto Carrier, gets the knock up, but now he's taken so much damage. Smash, one more auto will do it, and he flashes forward to pick it up. That's first blood in this bottom lane, as the flash from G was so weird alongside that heroic charge. One more auto would do it, but it's not gonna be there, and it's a double in the bottom lane for T1.
Bottom side fight. Let's see if they can quickly try to use this prio to grab Dragon and then turn to the Grubs, because if you end up losing a lot of control early, it's going to be a disaster, and Gideon's in trouble.
Owner's going in, but Carrier taking a fair bit of damage as well. Steadfast presence as he misses the Mystic shot there. Does Jiwoo, and Lehen's going to pay the price for it. Smash grabs yet another kill as Arcane Shift gets Jiwoo out of there, but Tri-Brush not going to be warded, and therefore no more shots going to land. NONGSHIM not finding wins really anywhere. Convinced you that this bottom lane is not somewhere that he wants to exist, and I believe he agrees. Kingen now looking for a bit of an angle as Carrier moving on up. Doran moving in as well as another heroic charge. Kingen trying to get himself out of there as the Crescent Guard is now on cooldown. Faker very low though, cannot join this fight as the hook is going to connect. Can they actually CC this Xin Zhao enough? That's the question. Gideon diving on top of him, flashes forward. Owner is healing though, and is going to survive. Good shield there as Kingen comes in to protect his jungler. And now Doran should be able to just finish off Fisher. If that hook had landed, Fisher able to flash his way out, but now Kingen's the one that eventually will pay the price.
Oh man, NONGSHIM committing so heavily to this one. Len should be able to get the execute here at the end of the day, but ultimately still another kill over to T1. They will be able to secure 2 out of 3 grubs at the end of the day. Fisher also losing his flash. Only Gio with his flash left remaining here across the side of NONGSHIM. As Carrier looking for a buckler and won't find it, but ooh, that was a bit of a messy one. Real control. Kingen is just like, let's see how good Cassante is. I have no flash.
Yeah. Does have his ultimate back off cooldown, but let's see what he can actually get done here as the Steadfast Presence gets him into the wall. There's the bullet time, and he's dead.
It's just systematic here by T1, and the cross-map Doran is like, well, I'm just not going to take a chance. I'm just going to walk away. Will be a little bit of plate gold going over to Gio in return, but it's never going to be an even trade. And even with the wave getting cleared out by that shock blast, they're not going to get hardly anything here, as this should also just be first brick for T1. And this is T1 Snowball. We talked about it in the points of the match, so we're looking at a 4,000 gold lead nearly here.
We're going to hold on to the wave, and Lahens can't really seem to hit a hook on his former top laner. And looks like Doran, he can land a few shock blasts. Lahens going to have to back himself out of the way. So feats of strength now going over to T1 with that first brick falling down on the bottom side. And maybe I should change my opinion on Misfortune. Maybe Misfortune is actually just fantastic.
I just don't know if it's really about the Misfortune. Like, in the bottom 2v2, her damage was big. Is Doran...
All right, there's cease and desist. Let's see whether they can actually get the kill. They pull him back, but now it's Carrier to remove Gideon from the equation. Still, Doran does go down. Faker teleporting in. I don't know about that one because he's trying to get himself out. A little bit weird as far as how the Observer PC managed to figure that one out, but Faker not able to get him far enough with the shifting sands. And that is 2 comeback kills here for NONGSHIM. Don't know whether it's going to be enough, but it's a good start.
It's definitely a step in the right direction for NONGSHIM, but that type of proactivity is a tough call to make, especially here when you're just locking somebody down and you just press R. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a look at it happening one more time. Let's see whether the Cassante shenanigans can actually bring Kingen out of this one. The all-out just not going to be invested, so he's just going to die.
Okay. That's,
Yep.
It's not. That's one step back.
Once more on the floor.
Yes.
That's how we're going to call that one. Still, Kingen will be back up again in 12 seconds. Time has teleport, so maybe they were hoping to fight over the grubs, which are now up and available.
This is not the Cassante who's down, 30 CS because of a weird lane swap shenanigan. It's just he's been constantly dove and threatened, so he spent a lot of time in the death chamber. He can't hit CS from there. And this is going to be T1 looking to grab 5 of 6 grubs here. And beyond the death's top side, I was going to mention this before, which no longer relevant, but it was almost perfect game pace for T1 leading up until that because they had everything else. The Dragon is theirs as well because Owner was on the bottom side taking that while that top side play was happening. And Lahens, like, you've got to be, first he wasn't hitting all of the important hooks, but now it's like, well, do you want to hook anybody? Is it safe to hook any target anymore in these types of skirmishes when you're this far behind? The answer is most of the time going to be no. And T1 is like, okay, we already grouped to get the bottom turret. Now let's systematically move top side, zone you away, and take this one too. It's not just the turret. It's zoning's Gio out of farm as well. And, you can see Kingen is like, cool, I've got my Shadow Jungler bottom side. I'll eventually get this one, but it is never going to be a race that you win.
Yeah, and Gio still going to get pressured here. 4 people towards the top side of the map. They're just desperately trying to get vision down so they know where they're all coming from. Fisher goes back, gets himself his Ludens. Let's see whether that's going to be enough to help them at least try and challenge, as the inner turret is well and truly under fire. 5 grubs is no joke when it comes to the damage to that one. But Fisher moving in. I think T1 have decided that maybe this is enough. Smash able to strut his stuff, so not too worried about that one. And Doran
with BT, so that's an extra shield he's going to have on top of dealing with Ezreal pretty well, but now we can deal with the poke from those Qs from Gio, so it's just a really tough matchup for Gio, and that's just another turret gone. So that'll be a 3rd for T1, all outers removed, and I mean, Faker went for Leandri's first. I feel like if he went Nashor's Tooth first, they might have even been able to get bigger advantages. That's normally what you do with Azir, but he saw the Cassante on the other side, and he was like, well, let's go for Leandri's first. I think it's a wise choice, but given what we know now, he probably wishes he did it the other way.
Yeah. Well, there's a heroic charge onto Jude. If it doesn't get the stun, then the bullet time doesn't get a whole lot of value. As we get a bit of a zoom in, Jonas Strong also thought Lahens might go for something, but as it turns out, he did not. And so with bounties up and available, NONGSHIM are looking for a dragon, but looks like T1 are going to deny that as well. Will NONGSHIM ever be able to get anything this game?
It just doesn't seem likely unless T1 make a big mistake. And even look at how safely Doran's playing. He's just sitting under turret knowing they don't have control of the pit. And while he sits there, they can't punish him, and then T1 push mid.
Well, True Shot Barrage going to try and help clear out this wave. Lahens making his way over, but this turret is just dead. And because Carrier can channel the ultimate, that's all you really need to worry about. That can protect their escape very comfortably. And in the meantime, Faker also taking another inner turret. There's only one inner turret left. And that's a Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, I mean, T1 are just farming NONGSHIM right now. Like,
yeah.
Everything that's red belongs to me. Everything the light touches is T1's kingdom, and with all the wards they have all over the map, the light touches everything, as it turns out, and
I think even... Yeah, I would definitely be alongside you on that opinion, my friend. As Kingen is desperately going to try and defend this indefensible in a turret.
Faker has Nashers now, already got that inner, so there's not a whole lot of like side lane hitting of turrets to do, but he still can hit the champions pretty hard. And the Leandri's damage into Kingen is going to hurt a lot. The LDR that's done at this point in time for Smash is going to hurt a lot. Jiu has his second item, but he
oh no,
stacks,
Gideon just completely isolated now. And yeah, Smash able to hit him mid-Vault Breaker with a bullet. And that's going to be enough to get rid of the Vibe.
We might have that trademark 20-minute objective from T1 in this game, except it'll be an Otacon this time.
Yeah, I think it will definitely be a 25-minute Baron as well, if we actually make it to 25 minutes. That's kind of my theory.
Oh!
All right, there's a pick onto Carrier. Hook is going to land that time. Kingen going to whiff the Q.
To just hit objectives and do a lot of damage to them. And you know, it's a little bit later than on 20, but about 2015.
Yep, and we're also standing on some vision here on NONGSHIM's side. Let's see whether they can get some sort of steal happening, as there is the flash forward. Gideon steals it, and now they get a free ticket home. Can they grab themselves some kills as well? That's the question. As 200 gold going over to Owner, as they are just kind of farming these Otacon buffs. Still, it's not as bad as dying. Creative draft ideas is I'm going to have to hold that thought, because we might have a fight breaking out. NONGSHIM all grouped as 5. Carrier with that Keeper's Verdict can really make things tough. As Doran on a flank angle, Fisher over the wall there as well. Cease and desist to get on top of him. And Doran's just being thrown around this fight like a ragdoll. Fisher is now found by Carrier, who does just evict Jiu. Empress Divide goes wide though, is now Kingen trying to stay alive, but he's still at Otacon buff for another 20 seconds, so that's kind of cute. That's going to be Owner taking away the Dragon. Flash out from Faker avoids the hook as Jiu makes his way back into the fight. Coming. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but like you say, Kingen making his way back into the battle might mean that T1 aren't exactly getting out scot-free. True Shot Barrage does sail by and does nothing at all. And it looks like T1 will be safe for now with the Drake in hand.
If there was a better teleport angle for Kingen, if they had...
And Owner and Faker getting to work on this Dragon. Cease and desist is going to connect onto Smash. Keeper's Verdict just to get rid of the damage. And down goes the jungler. And that will mean Baron is available if T1 would like to take it. As now Kingen being discovered by Owner is exactly what NONGSHIM do not want. Just pick after pick here for T1, and 1 versus 5, I don't think he's going to be able to get that one. Lahan's going to get picked up by that Emperor's Divide and will be cut down where he stands as well by the onslaught of Sand Soldiers. And T1, I don't know whether they even necessarily need to take the Baron. They might just do it because they feel like it, but I think also pushing into the enemy base might be a way to win.
Yeah, well, it looks like Fisher's flash isn't going to be enough to get him out of here. And
To the Skies was both a request and the name of the ability.
Yes. I think that with the Azir damage here, they could easily just 2-man this, and then the remainder of these minions, which aren't really being thinned out by anyone, will just end the game here for T1. Faker does have teleport as well, so he can just TP to mid, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's looking for the second inhibitor here. They can start to collapse in with these Baron-buffed cannon minions to say goodnight.
Well, there's finally a hook connecting onto Doran. Nice work, Lahens. We got there, even though it is a little bit too little and perhaps too late. Inhibitor goes down, top side and mid. Not exactly what you want. Is now Owner possibly out of position as well. Crescent Guard does absolutely nothing. Is now Kingen. Gets an all-out onto Doran. NONGSHIM actually finding some angles here as Faker is now on the floor. Carrier and Smash the only ones left alive. Thank goodness they took the Baron.
I mean, the fact that Fisher's teleport came off cooldown, I think, was the biggest concern for T1 on going for the end, because a flanking Aurora could have been an issue, but they pushed so deep anyways, they could have tried to maybe potentially rely on those super minions, or not the super minions, the Baron buff minions to then kind of siege the Nexus and stay together, but they kind of fragmented themselves off. Had a bit of
They can take that to the bank. I don't know whether it's going to save the Nexus, but still. Jiu going to be clearing out waves as best he can. The wave clear is mainly going to be coming from Fisher this game. And so the Baron buff kind of makes him a little bit sad. But when the minion waves are crashing in on top side and mid, and he's just clearing them out, he does do a decent job taking them down. But now that the siege is on, This is where things get dangerous. Out goes King and in goes Carrier. Ono looking for an advantage onto Jiu, who's trying to stay alive, but the bullet time says absolutely not. Lehens down to 50%, make that 30 and make that dead. Empress Divide doesn't do a whole lot because the all-out gets King and through it, but he also heads straight to the death chamber. It's a triple kill for Smash. Fisher the last man standing, and there was a blip. There was a bit of a hiccup, but ultimately the outcome was still the same as it's been dictated throughout the entirety of the game. T1 just too good in this game number 1.
Very dominant game from T1. Their goal difference at 30, I think, was 4. There is no tank at the moment, which leads into part of why maybe you see that Leona Nautilus ban. And, you know, obviously that sets up the Rumble to great success as well. But this is a solid lineup here for NONGSHIM at the end of the day, given what T1 have. It was a weird path we took to get there, but, you know, yeah. I think we're also putting a lot of trust in Fisher being able to pilot Yone here to great success. And we're just going all in.
Yeah, okay, so that's Carrier's Pike. We know just how good he is on this champion, but that is definitely the opposite of a tank. That is as far the opposite of a tank that you can possibly get. This guy cannot even get health. Like, it just does, it's impossible.
He can't do it, and I think this is T1 saying, sure, we'll fight fire with fire in this draft. You guys have been flipping a lot of coins. You've been all-inning on a lot of team fights. We're more clutch than you. Our synergy's better than you. And we'll just snowball this game, and Pike's cut gold will snowball this Kai'Sa, and we're going to just explode into the mid-game so hard that some of the tools and options that NONGSHIM's draft has just won't really come online. This is not...
See how it goes. We jump into the rift for game number 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, into game number 2, where tanks have been banned. Playing a tank, illegal. It's not something you're allowed to do. As owner, you have a skin for this champion, dude. Like, I know that one's really cool as well, but, I mean, this is the time.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like the time. We will have a lane swap.
Ooh.
But T1...
I like that Anivia skin as well. That's a cool one.
Yeah, T1, will they look to match, or will they just try to bully Anivia? It's kind of tough to bully an Anivia because of her passive. And it's very difficult to dive her as well because of that. So it's a strong champion in a lane swap, and has great wave clear too. Yep. Ooh, that's some cool tech.
Okay.
So delaying the minion wave a little bit.
Bit of a cute one, just bunching them up.
He has 7 seconds so he could try to slow them down again.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And so now he gets to at least convince the minions that they should be a bit closer to his turret.
And use the turret. Yep. Really cool.
Oh, that is very... Look at these melees. They're so confused. And the build that he's been going has been a lot more like Rod of Ages, Seraph's style of builds, as the flash from Fisher is odd, misses the Q. Now unbinds, gets the flash out of Faker, because Faker is respecting Lehens. But that was some events, as once again, Kingen is going to tell the melees that they will walk through that brush.
If you are able to set it up, and he's able to do so, that's a level 4 Kai'Sa, so without cleanse, which he's aware of. So that could have been way worse if the wall was actually tight there, and he wasn't able to work his way out.
Yeah. He's going to be maxing the E. I'm wondering when he's going to put extra points into the wall. I remember Froggen like used to do these weird things because the guy played Anivia so much that he'd like have different games where he'd like max wall first, as there's a hook connecting, sorry, a cocoon connecting as Faker just Valkyrie's away. Ona makes his way in, makes his way out. Lehen's very, very close to dead. And T1 just kind of chilling right now. Bone Skewer going to be attempted to be blocked, but instead, Gideon's the one that's going to be the target. That was to get out, and that equalizer was nutty. Just try and hit Smash with things. Doesn't, I believe, manage to tag him with the frost there. Oh dear, Lehen's is just dead.
High value ward. I've never seen one.
Sometimes respecting the wards is a good idea, as once again, first blood is going to be gained by killing Lehen's.
I have a feeling I didn't ping that one.
Yeah. That's just a little bit sad. I think you might want to risk taking your time to move towards a turret or something like that before you decide to go back with 200 health. As now Jiu is trying to fight against Doran, and Doran silences himself and does a lot of damage here to Jiu. Does get a little bit on the back end. Into the brush as the Flame Spitter is able to help out, so the arrow not exactly getting the value that Jiu really wanted. That was certainly not one you want. This could be another opportunity for that, as now Lehens wants to be able to find it. Cocoon now going to connect as he flashes on over. Fisher's in so much trouble, still going to survive. They take down the Lee Sin first, the repel to get Lehens out of dodge. And now Jiu's on the board, picks up the kill onto Carrier. Faker now in trouble, and it's a double for the Ash. NONGSHIM coming back in a big way here in game 2.
I mean, it's just a tightrope walk, though, how they played that. And Fisher has spent so much of this game for real, sitting on low health and just going in and absorbing
PhD in
I think if you had a
Diego interactions.
If you had a group of 20... Oh!
Okay, there is the safeguard kick flash onto Jiu, who is very dead.
All right, well, there you go.
Yep, revenge. Secured. The feat of strength did go over to NONGSHIM.
Yeah.
So there is at least that. They can take that one to the bank. Nice little knock up here from Fisher as Doran misses the harpoon. That's going to win the trade there for the Yone. But that is one grub going on down as VODS are going to give away the position here of Smash. Carrier comes in though, lands the Bone Skewer as Kingin's in a bit of trouble as well. Lehens is just dead. Explosions there as the ulti's looking really cool. A double in theory, but it is just egg form. And still, that's a 4-man ult from Fisher! Smash gonna get ripped to shreds! And they take down Faker as well. Back immediately channeled here as Carrier is trying to go home. And now flashing over the wall is Gideon, safeguarding out his owner, and I think he will survive for the moment. But man, I thought that was a T1 destruction derby. Instead, NONGSHIM find the hugest Yone angle.
I mean, it was still even better there. I think NONGSHIM's super frustrated with the fact that both Carrier is able to escape. They knew he was there. I think 99% they know he's in that brush, but they thought they could get the kill onto owner. Flash committed, they don't get either of them. So it's a nice trade back there and an incredible ultimate from Fisher. It could have been even better. And T1, again, if you walk into this team fight with NONGSHIM, you better hope you're wiping it clean.
That with Kingin, lay it over the top, right? He can slow everyone so much, it can make some of these Yone plays work out. As Kingin also may just be dead, which would also be bad, but Owner's going to dive in. There's the safeguard kick as Lehens comes through. Owner is going to die, so it's a 1-for-1. But Lehens is now finding himself a little bit trapped underneath this turret. That turret is very angry. And Smash taking a lot of damage here. Lehens, I don't know about this one, buddy. Still, can he get in range of the Q? As there's the repel, and he gets the execute. Not enough that Carrier can do about it, as now Faker will turn up. But Fisher is now landed. Carrier looks for the ultimate, doesn't quite find it, but still, the stun is going to connect. Carrier going to be falling, as we've also got Gideon getting eaten by a very angry robot Yordle. And Jiu, can he actually avenge him? The answer is perhaps, because we just continue to fight here in this game. Doran now running for the hills. Faker looking for Fisher. He flashes, he picks it up. And it's 8-8 as far as the kill score. And if we don't get a Ruinous Otacon in this game, I will eat my hat.
It might be the one. 5 seconds until it's calculated, but I mean, looks like maybe we even have more. Fisher is not here. And it's just Faker who's double blast coning his way out. Chemtech Soul to the rescue. I guess Ruinous Otacon's not happening.
I will eat nothing. Just for you guys, just so that I can remain true. Okay, Lehens going to find the Cocoon onto Owner here, who puts him up into the sky. Kingin just continuing to try and push them away. Gets stunned and now has no real way out. And will be taken out of there.
Oh man, my man Lehens is trying to make some big heroic plays in this mid game and starting to backfire a little bit here. You actually still can pick people, you still can blow them up, but it's going to get a little bit tougher once you start losing control of objectives. Speaking of, they do have control of Herald now. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, NONGSHIM, I think if they can convince T1 to walk into them and that first pick does actually come through, the amount of, snowball potential within a fight is extraordinarily high with things like the Viego. But that is the Rift Herald going down. Gideon. And let's see whether Jiu knows it, and he does. As Bone Skewer still going to connect, and Jiu just going to be able to find the hook, so it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Let's see whether Gideon can make it a 2-for-1, but the Bone Skewer not quite as good coming from the Viego, and he gets himself out.
Still feel pretty good about this as T1.
This River is Gideon pushing forward. Arrow going to connect there onto Owner. The double stun, the layering CC, but he gets himself out with the safeguard, and now Gideon is burning down. Faker, Valkyries to reposition, and now it's Smash's Killer Instinct. He didn't even need a button with that name on it. He already just had that, but it is working out for them. Carrier looking for another Bone Skewer, but honestly, the damage has been done. 3 on the floor for NONGSHIM, and maybe even more as the ulti gets Fisher out, but Kingin, he doesn't have one of those. Burning, but now he's just going to have to flap his way out. And this outer turret, not long for the world as T1 just look to take down the stragglers. Oh dear, yeah, that is a Void Seeker that's going to put him down towards the egg, and down goes Yone as well. Faker's health bar suffered a little bit, but nothing to worry about. As now Otacon could be an option here. They are relatively low as far as these health bars, but T1 are just better today.
Yeah,
that's all I'm really seeing.
I mean, I almost felt like I cast her curse when I was like, oh, they're just more careful. Like you said, T1 are just better today, and I mean, this is a AP Anivia, not very tanky. Is about to hit the Rod of Ages and the Seraph's transform, but it's just too little too late. The scaling is definitely high in terms of what she can do damage-wise later, but I don't know if it's going to matter.
Well, Kingen is going to do his best to try and find an angle, and Faker is going to make it impossible for any value to be collected. Gives him the good old thumbs up as Void Seeker is going to find him. My goodness. He deserved that, you know, like catching a bit of a break here.
I mean, look, anyone who's, even a T1 fan will cheer for an Anivia in those moments. You know, we haven't seen Anivia that much really ever in a while, and Zeus did it one time, and now we're like, oh, could this be a thing? Could we see Anivia? That's kind of hype. Please live, King. I don't know.
I also think he got his Seraph's transform
right in time.
As it was, as he needed it, so that was definitely cool. Fisher going to use his ult to escape once again. T1, a few too many bodies here for NONGSHIM to really fight back. They have 4. But is it actually going to be enough? Another Bone Skewer. Carrier cannot miss today. Yeah, he's just on fire. And Smash is going to sit here in mid. This 4-1 Otacon play is so oppressive. A lot of teams would just look for a dive here, but T1 don't need to. They know that NONGSHIM can't punish. They can't look for the picks like their comp wants to while they're sieged up like this. Oh dear, Doran possibly in trouble. The wall goes down. Repel goes up. And remember, they have Otacon, but this is still a bunch of money going over to NONGSHIM. They just need to make sure that they do not die. Killer Instinct gets Smash in there as they take down Jiu. 1 for 2 sent back home is kind of even, I guess
it's like a trade up for NONGSHIM gold-wise a little bit, but still T1 having the pressure there.
Another Bone Skewer. This time going to miss. 6 points in my country, though.
And using the wall and the ultimate, like you said, to kill the minions and to deny some of that siege, buying some time here.
Yep, counter siege for Anivia is no joke, as now Fisher is going to take an equalizer ride. He did not want that. Another equalizer is there now in the form of a Valkyrie, and Faker didn't even really need it as far as the damage. Fisher is just, being...
1v1. This was not the play.
Yes. Not the droids you were looking for. Okay, Lehens is just thrown into a Bone Skewer. Now that they have it, things are looking real dire. And Carrier doesn't miss those. Once again, that is a dead Ashe.
Yeah, sometimes against these Carrier spears, you gotta just flash it, man.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, maybe I'll dodge. You don't dodge this guy.
I mean, if I was playing against him, I would probably, my way of dodging it would be to be in the fountain.
The problem is if you flash his hook, then you don't have your flash for his next one. He's not going to miss, you know. Yeah, he was in deep trouble there. T1 going to grab this Baron on spawn again. And this game is just, unfortunately, very quickly spiraling out of NONGSHIM's grasp. There were some good angles in the early game. There were some opportunities. They kept it close. They even had, at one point, a pretty nice macro lead, map control. But T1 just outplayed them and were able to suss out some of their traps. Speaking of...
Oh, Lehens, unfortunately not allowed to go home. The equalizer going to stop that. Now Carrier looking for an opportunity to take him down. He's going to slink through, does get tagged as, oh god, just like 3 buttons and he's dead. Fisher not going to be allowed to escape here. Does get a big old shield as he flashes on top of Faker. He almost goes down. Eventually Gideon does secure that kill as the Bone Skewer this time just barely going to go wide. And Doran going to get taken down. Gideon now finding some of these angles, some of these opportunities as he gets on top of Smash with a Heartbreaker. Now Jiu with these auto attacks as Carrier, it's just going to get auto down. And Ona possibly out of position. There's the kick, follows in order to take down Gideon, but the stun is going to be there, and there's the Ashe damage we've been waiting for. NONGSHIM able to fight back. This was with Baron.
Yeah, this is one of those old school NONGSHIM types of team fights where you're like, oh, if you want to tussle with us, you better be ready to get into the chaos, as Gideon absolutely pops off in that fight. And Gideon has been known to be a crazy Viego player. You give him that opportunity, you don't respect him. He has a ton of really crazy snowballing champions on T1's side to utilize there as well. The damage coming out of the stolen Corki was unreal. That's going to be a lot of gold over to NONGSHIM here. They secured Dread Flash. That's way too much damage. Uh-oh.
I've seen this movie before.
Well, yeah. I was, you know, for a moment there, I was like, wait, can NONGSHIM maybe do this 1 or 2 more times and we have a game? But then we come out of the replay and reality strikes us, and strikes, unfortunately, Jiu for a 6th time this game.
And this did happen in game number 1 as well, right?
Yes.
It was the negative Rebel Baron power play into T1 saying, haha, I guess we'll just win. And then they did. This does have an Anivia in it, so maybe that just win is going to take a little while longer. But Ona says he's going to split push, take down a mid lane inhibitor turret, and T1 to continue to push forward. King in. Gonna get just engaged on here by Carrier. King goes golden. Carrier likely to die as Gideon is just burning. That is going to be the rocket to take him down. Actually, the last tick of Ignite, I believe, was what removed him there. And NONGSHIM continuing to play defense. Arrow going to connect onto this Rumble as the ulti from Fisher. It might be enough there to be able to take him down, but instead he goes golden. Ona now taken down to his GA. Smash is getting autoed down by Jiu, who's standing and delivering as far as this damage is concerned. If he's not instantly killed, things can be better unless Ona does that. And now the entire bottom lane is being wiped out. He does have to sacrifice himself for it. Speaking of sacrifices, Doran will be taking down Fisher, the hero, as Kingen versus Faker, a tale as old as time, or at least one that's at least 3 years old based on the 2022 World Cup.
Locks Doran down, and then Geo positions really well. Yeah, can we stop doing the thing where we say nice things about NONGSHIM that we come back and they're dead?
Yeah, this has happened somewhat. Rift. This could be another one, though, as Carrier going to look for a Bone Skewer, connects it after the Heartbreaker. This guy is sick. Ona now looking to try and connect that Q, but the arrow is going to be what lands. Nice little stun there as in goes Ona looking for another opportunity. King and just trying to play defense. This picks him out of the air again! How does Carrier keep doing this? Now looks for the engagement in the backline, sacrifices himself at Smash to find an avenue in. He's going to take down Jiu, and Fisher somehow misses everyone with that ultimate. That actually, I don't think that's on Fisher. That should have hit something, I think. As now Faker is going to say enough with the shenanigans, and he's looking to end this game right here. The most kills in a game here for the LCK Cup ever. And Fisher is still going to try and get more, at least give more, as 2 go down before Smash is given some time with this Nexus. Doran also going to be able to clear out the kill onto King and gets the ace, and this is going to be the 2-0 for T1. Welcome to the playoffs of the LCK Cup. You'll be up against either DRX or Humble Life Esports, depending on who wins the next best of 3. But T1 right now, look